Feeling lost in your UPSC preparation? Too many books, countless strategies, and no clear direction? It's time to leave the confusion behind. Welcome to Vision IAS Jaipur's GS Foundation Course 2026, starting from 20th January at 7:30 am and 5 pm. With Delhi's expert faculty now in Jaipur, personalized mentorship and structured guidance, you'll have everything you need to master the UPSC Civil Services examination. From comprehensive syllabus coverage to advanced test series with performance analysis, we ensure your preparation stays on track. Prepare smarter, not harder, with proven strategies, consistent motivation, and complete support from Vision IAS Jaipur. Join the GS Foundation Course 2026 today. Batch starts 20th January, 7:30 am and 5 pm.
think shall we start? Huh? Because okay. So the topic for today is a general topic, and it is basically to motivate and inspire all of you for being a part of the civil service. Now, civil service, there are many views about it, there are many apprehensions about it. So, people talk about civil service as a service which is full of interference by the politicians, or lot of tensions and pressures and pulls, and therefore some people say that civil service is a service which always gives tensions. So they don't really have a very favorable view of the civil services. We have just started. But then all these things, you can come in the front if you want, all of you. Okay, so let me begin again. So civil services are one of the most challenging services in the country, and it has always remained the best service and shall remain the best service for at least next 100 to 200 years. So therefore, those people who talk about many cons of the civil service, saying that civil service is full of tensions, pressures, pulls, interference, I would like to say that challenges are always very good, and people should take up challenges. Every job offers challenges, but the kind of challenges which you get in civil service is unparalleled. Unparalleled. So I will talk about first of all the civil service as an introduction. Then I will sail through the 35 years of the civil service. What exactly are you missing? And once you become a civil servant, what exactly will you gain? So civil services started with civil services as you are already aware. British times they were called as Indian Civil Service, ICS, yeah, Imperial Civil Service. British times, initially only the Englishmen were allowed, but then later on Indians were also allowed, and many Indians, just to name one or two, Subhash Chandra Bose also, Satyendranath Tagore also, yes. And one of the last members of the Indian Civil Service was N.K. Mukherjee, who passed away recently. N.K. Mukherjee was a great officer, and I had the fortune of serving under him when he was the governor of Punjab. I was the Home Secretary of Chandigarh administration. So civil services, when the Britishers left India, then the question was whether we should retain civil service or not. So there were two different opinions, one that of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and the other that of Sardar Patel. Mr. Nehru was against the idea of retaining Indian civil service as such, because he had reservation. He felt that the Indian civil service people are ultimately the legacy of the Britishers. But Sardar Patel said that we have just got independence and it is necessary to establish a service which is going to assist the political executive. So the civil service, as you know, or is called the bureaucracy, is the permanent executive. So there are two executives, permanent and political. Political executive, which is temporary, and permanent, which is, so political executive comes initially for 5 years and they come for 35 years. So Sardar Patel said political executive because they come through the process of elections. That is why they are called political executive. Yes, there is a need for political executive because we are a democracy and it is the represents the interests of the people. People's interests have to be represented by their representatives. So political executive come through the process of election and permanent executive come through the process of selection. That's the difference. So Sardar Patel said that primarily there are two reasons why we should have a permanent executive, that is the civil service. And the two reasons which he said were very important reasons to have a civil service. In post-independence era, after 1947, post-independence, Sardar Patel said there are two reasons why we should retain the service. One, aid and advise political executive. Because political executive did not have any experience, we had just got freedom. So therefore they said that there must be someone who has got experience, who has got knowledge, who has got who has ample knowledge, experience of working in the field and otherwise. So they said that political executive may not be aware about the rules, regulations, procedures, SOPs, and it has to be legal in conformity with laws. So he said that there has to be a permanent executive to assist political executive. SOP, standard of procedures, at what level decisions are taken, financial sanctions are necessary, administrative approval is necessary. So there are rules and regulations. That is why, you know, our Prime Minister said that we are too rule bound. So we are all bound by rules, and you know that in the good governance principle, there is one principle which is called as rule of law, if you remember. So rule of law has to be followed. Rule of law is the standard processes, procedures, SOPs, regulations, act, etc. So therefore he said that they will be able to aid and advise because they are inexperienced. They don't have knowledge about the rules, regulation, how a project is to be formulated. For example, if Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is to be implemented, then it is the political executive will say how this is to be brought about. They have the knowledge, they have the experience. So they will say, first of all, we have to collect data. The ratio between male and female, male population is going up, female population is going down. They will collect a lot of data. They will put forward what are the reasons it's happening. So ultrasound tests are happening. People have this feeling inside that only son will carry forward this. So a lot of behavioral changes are necessary. All these things are told by the permanent executive to the political executive. And then once they are convinced something has to be done about it, then you have to follow the rules, regulations. Why? You have to, for example, ban the ultrasound tests so that people do not resort to sex determination tests. You have to encourage a girl child being born in the house by depositing some amount, say 5 lakhs of rupees in fixed deposit. By the time she attains the age of marriage, an amount grows. So these are incentives. So incentives and disincentives have to be given, and that is told by the permanent executive, that you have to form a law, you have to form an instructions. So this is basically aid and advise the political executive on file. File. We deal with files. Civil servants deal with file. If you rearrange the letters of the word file, it becomes life. Every file deals with the life of a citizen, and therefore when you decide on the files, you are dealing with the lives of the citizens of this country, and therefore we have got a citizen centric system of governance. The system of governance is called as citizen centric okay. So file becomes life of the citizen. So every time a civil servant deals with a file, it is concerning the life of a citizen. So here he aids and advice. Number 2 reason, acts as a bridge between outgoing government and incoming government, new government. You see, for example, if Congress was in power, then Congress does not win the election, BJP comes. Now during election time, you see, someone has to run the country, and the new government, when it will come, it has to be told what was done by the previous government, because previous government has gone, the political executive has gone. Someone has to tell the new government that this was what was done so far, and this is what exactly do you want now. So it acts as a bridge between the old government and the new government. Isn't it clear? If the bridge is not there, the new government will not know what was done by the old government. So the political executive is informed that this was done last time in the 5 years. So they act as a bridge, and they also act as a bridge between people and government. How that happens? How? Who are the people? The MLA and the MP and the ministers, they go rarely to the villages. Who are there in the villages? They are the street level bureaucrats. Street level bureaucrats. Gram Sachiv, Patwari, Block Development Officer, Tehsildar, SHO, teacher, doctor, Asha worker, Anganwadi worker, social welfare officer. That is nothing but permanent executive. They remain for 35 years. So therefore, they act as a bridge between people and the government. So this is how the civil services came. So the major reasons are, of course, patriarchal. We have made a lot of development, but still our mindset remains the same, that the male child will carry the legacy of the of the parents. So a girl child will be married off to the another. So they say that बाप को कंधा देने वाला, the child, the son is going to carry forward the legacy. The girl will go away to another house. So therefore they say that son is absolutely necessary. So, and they say that the girl will entail lot of expenditure. You have to give, when she is married off, you have to give lot of things. More progressive. Even though it is more progressive, but patriarchal mindset amongst the families is still continuing, though it has improved much more, much more, much more. Yes. Actually, to tell you frankly, the sex ratio is more vitiated in the middle class families and senior people. Rural people, they don't have so much of concern कि छोरा होगा कि छोरी होगी. They are not so much bothered. But the middle class and the upper middle class, they have, so Haryana people are very progressive. So therefore, they still have this tendency of going in for male child. Yes, yes, correct. Yes, yes, correct. So that is the reason. So and then technology has entered Haryana in a big way. So the ultrasound machines, etc. There were plethora of machines. So people used to go. No, it has improved. It has improved. It was very low. In the last 5 years, it has improved considerably. 5 or 10 years, it has improved. Yes, it was when the government came in 2014, it was very low. But then now it has improved. It is a very slow process. It is not easy to change the mindset of the people. So therefore, and if a girl is born, then the parent will say, oh, ek ladka bhi ho jata to acha tha, if I had a son also. So they will keep on, and that in fact gives rise to many problems. So the next child may also be a girl, third child may also be a girl. So they keep on trying for getting a son, which is a wrong thing. Once you have got a daughter, you should be very happy. Daughters are very loving. So, and daughter looks after the parents in the same manner as the son looks after. But then it's a social problem. This problem does not exist in many, for example, Kerala. And you see one more thing, education also makes the difference. So if good education is there, Kerala has got a good education. So they don't distinguish. The best nurses all over the world, they are from Kerala. Okay? So they give lot of respect to the women also. Northeast also, lot of respect is given to the women. But here woman is generally treated, not treated equally as a male. Correct. Okay, so now coming back. So civil services, so Sardar Patel had his say and he said, no, we have to have a civil service. So the civil service came to the fore. And now the civil services, there are a number of civil services. So the government decided that there will be one diplomatic service, then All India services, third central services, fourth state services. So the diplomatic service was called as Indian Foreign Service. All India services were IFOS, Forest Service. Central services are IRS, IAAS, IRMS. There are many, almost 20 services are there. And state services are the PCS, the provincial civils, provincial civil service. So this is how they set up the pattern. Now all India services, they find a place in constitution. So there is an article in constitution. There is an article, 315. So there is an article which deals with all India services. Now why was it introduced in the constitution? Why was it introduced? Constitution, they introduced the concept of all India services. Why? Hmm. Why it was added in the constitution? Political neutral is necessary and you have conduct rules for that. The conduct rule says that that is article 311, 312. Yeah, that also I will come to that. Stability. So that is the stability which he was saying. Correct. It is basically, the purpose is they serve to establish unity and diversity in the country. So unification of the country. How unification? Because all India services people can be posted anywhere in the country in a particular state. So someone from Uttar Pradesh gets posted in Kerala, someone from West Bengal posted in Gujarat. So people migrate from one place to another and they serve the affairs of that state as a representative of the center. So they act for unifying the country. After retirement they settle down in the places where they are they got their cadres. Uttar Pradesh people go and settle down, construct their houses in Kerala and Meghalaya. And the result is they unify the culture, the diversity of the country. That is why it was included in the All India, as in the Constitution of India. Okay, so now, then Sardar Patel said, we have to insulate the civil service from biasness, neutrality should be there, from politicians who may not be always ethical. So you have to protect them. Therefore they brought about Article 311 and 312, that no civil servant can be removed by an authority subservient to the appointing authority. So it is Article 311, 312, protection to civil servant. So because Sardar Patel was a great visionary, and he said over a period of time there will be unethical people also who will pressurize the civil servants to put up the proposal in the manner they want, and sometimes it may not be legal also. So the civil servants should be able to express their views without fear or favor. That will only be possible when they have protection. Otherwise, they can be removed. So they said no civil servant can be removed except by an authority who appointed the civil servant. In the case of all services here, these three, the appointment is president. Appointment is done by the president. And here it is governor. In the case of state civil service. So he said that no authority subservient to the appointing authority can remove the public servant, so that they can give advice without fear or favor, unbiased. So that is how the civil services were created, and it has come a long way from 1947, and it has established, kept the fabric of the country intact. The civil services, whatever you may say, people have different opinion about civil service. Some have a very favorable opinion, some do not have a favorable opinion, but still, whatever you may say, the bureaucracy that has been able to keep the country together and carry forward the system of governance in a systematic manner. Okay. So now that we have understood this, let us proceed further. So the civil services are recruited through an examination. I don't have to tell you the examination. So the UPSC and the state public service commissions, they recruit PCS and they recruit All India services, central services, diplomatic service. There are many other services also, like engineering services, Indian Statistical Service, Indian Economic Service, and so on. All these services are recruited by the UPSC, and PCS is recruited by the state public service commissions. So once the process of examination is on, the examinations are conducted once in a year normally, generally, for these services once in a year. This does carry out examinations sometimes less than a year also, State Public Service Commission. Sometimes there are gaps, 2 years, 3 years pass away and they don't recruit. So these are conducted, the All India services, all these services, there is a 3-tier examination, means personality test, /interview. It takes about a year to complete, as you are already aware. The UPSC comprises of chairman or chairperson, whatever, sometimes it is the lady, for example, right now, and members. In the personality test, these members, sometimes chairperson also, they act as the chairperson of the boards. There are 8-10 boards constituted for carrying out the personality test. Marks are allocated. How many marks are there for mains now? 2020? 1750? 1750, okay. This is qualifying. Personality test 275. 2025 marks. So here about 10 lakh people appear, 10 to 12 lakh people. And then how many go to the mains? No, 12,000. 12 to 14,000. Out of which 3,000 are called 2,500. Okay. Okay, 2,500. 2,500. Out of it, 1,000. About 1,000 people are recruited in the final selection. So, so that is the recruitment part, and two agencies play a part in the recruitment. One is the DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, and the UPSC. Now, UPSC. Agency to DOPT is the decision making body. It's a ministry, and the actual selection is done by the UPSC. UPSC. It is rules, regulations, procedures. Biased. In the interview, no. First of all, let me tell you that the impression which was created by one of the Bollywood movies regarding personality test, UPSC is not bad at all. UPSC people are very encouraging, very motivating. They will never reprimand a member, candidate. They are very, very sweet to talk to. It is very conversational thing which happens there. It is not the way it has been shown that the chairman is saying disparaging remarks against the candidate. It never happens. Yes. Yes. No. Politicians are Om Birla. Well, uh, hmm, hmm. Yeah, so aberrations do happen, but still UPSC is far, far superior to the state public service commissions. It is still, yeah, it still has some credibility attached to it. But as I said, exceptions prove the rule. In fact, one or two exceptions can be there, yeah, but otherwise it is quite. You see, the chairperson decides which candidate will go to which board. No board member or the UPSC member knows who are the candidates who will be appearing before it. So it is totally transparent. It is totally secret, in fact, not transparent. It is totally secret. Nobody knows about it. So therefore, the chairperson does it, and then different candidates are allocated to different boards. And in the beginning of the interview itself, we look up at the candidates list, and so let me tell you what exactly the board comprises of, since you have asked for this personality test. The board sits like this. So there is a chairperson of the board. There are two persons on the right and two persons on the left. He is the chairperson. Not the chairperson of UPSC. These members are the chairpersons. So there are a number of boards, because the number of chairpersons, there are number of members of UPSC. 8-10 members are there. So each one of them sits as a chairperson. And then there are advisors. These are called advisors. Advisor. Normally, the advisors are retired people drawn from different services. So it can be, first of all, the chairperson, he can be anyone, because members are drawn from different fields, from IAS, IPS, IRS, IFS, Army, Navy, Air Force, Vice Chancellors. It can be anyone. So they are selected by the President of India, and so these people chair. The other people are the advisors. Advisors are, one may be from IAS, they are all retired. It can be from, say, Indian Foreign Service or Indian Police Service. This can be from IRS. This can be education. So it can be vice chancellors. And normally one woman. Amongst these, normally one woman is there. Woman member is there. Total 5. 2 on the right, 2 on the left. Chairman, the member of UPSC sits in the middle. So in the UPSC, also, the UPSC is also like a circle, and there are rooms. Yes, amongst the 5. Yes. So the UPSC also has this building which is circular, Dhalpur House. So there are different rooms allocated to the members, and which one of them is chairman. So the interviews are carried out in advisors, in the members room. So for this member, he will be the chairperson. So this is member 1, member 2, 3, 4, 5. So they carry out the interview in their rooms. Are you following it or not? Understanding or not? The members, they sit in their rooms, and there is a waiting room attached to that, in which the candidates who are called for the interview, they sit there. Normally, all the candidates in the forenoon are called together, and all the candidates in the afternoon are called together. So there will be 5 or 6 people waiting in the room. Normally the number of interviews which are held every day is 12, 10 to 12. So there can be 9 to 1, and then say 2:30 to 6:30. So there are many waiting rooms also. So in fact, normally what happens, after every 1 or 2 rooms, there is a waiting room. So, so for example, if I say, supposing it's like this, there is a, one is sitting here, then there is a waiting room. 2 is sitting here, then there is a waiting room. 3 is sitting here, waiting room. 4th, waiting room. So what happens is, the 5 or 6 people who are called together, they sit in the waiting room, and they wait for their turns to come. So the first candidate goes, every candidate gets about 20 to 30 minutes, approximately. Sometimes if the candidate is brilliant, 30 minutes. If the candidate is not so brilliant, are you, is it visible in the, sitting here is visible? So sometimes it can be less than 30 minutes, but minimum 20 minutes are definitely given to every candidate. The reason is, can you tell me why everyone is given a certain minimum time? Why? If the candidate is not good, he can be sent off back in 10 minutes also, but they don't do it. Why? Understanding the candidate, but more important than that, sending the right signal. The candidate should not get this feeling that because my interview has ended in 10 minutes, that means I am bad. Sending right signal. So everyone should be, because then people will start talking. Oh, iska interview to 10 minutes mein khatam ho gaya, iska matlab hai he is no good. Nobody should have this impression. So even if he might not have performed very well, even that 20 minutes to karenge. उसके बाद अगर कोई brilliant है, if there is a brilliant candidate, it can go to 25, 30 also sometime, but not more than generally 30 is the maximum. Okay, so this is how people wait, and there are always newspapers, magazines lying in the waiting room, and you can get tea, coffee and water and washroom facilities. They are all in the waiting room, and then you are called for the interview. And as you enter the interview room, you are your turn comes, so you open the door, you go inside, and as I said, 5 people are sitting in the room. There is a chair here on which the candidate sits, and in front of the candidate there is always a small table on which paper, pen and water, ये चीज़ें हमेशा सामने रखी होंगी. Some papers, loose papers, some pen and water. Water is to, in case का गला खराब हो जाए, खांसी आ जाए, he can take water. And supposing you want to write down your thoughts before answering a question, you can use that paper and pencil to muster up your thoughts in a systematic manner and then come out with the answer. So you can seek permission from the chairperson. Say, sir, can I take a few seconds? Yes, why not? Can I use this paper? Yes, of course. So use that paper to write down and then come out with the answer. So that is how, that is why I said that it is a very helpful board, that whatever impression has been created by that film is not correct. Okay, so then the questions which are asked, that of course it's a separate session which I take, but let me first of all, would you like me to talk about the questions, or shall I proceed with the journey now of the civil service? Questions first of all. बताइए. Okay, some questions, all right. Some question, and then I will proceed to the what happens later on. There is no such thing. You can speak in your regional language also. You can speak in Hindi also. But you have to give that. The mains language can be different from the interview language. But you have to declare in the beginning itself that my interview I would like to be conducted in Hindi. So what happens is that in case you have chosen for regional language, there is interpreter who sits there. For example, you want to the interview should be conducted in Marathi language or Telugu or Malayalam. Naturally, all the board members will not be aware about it. So there is always a translator, a interpreter who sits along with us. And then the questions are asked by the board members, and then they are translated into that language. And then he gives an answer, and they are translated back to the members. So any language can be taken. The only thing which happens is that if you take other language, then everyone may not be aware about it. So the time is shortened, because once you have to speak the question and then translate it and then again speak. So some time is lost in that. But still, the effort is made by the UPSC that the time for the questions should be minimum 20 minutes. So this is, so therefore if there is an interpreter, it can go to 40 minutes also, because some time will be lost in that translation also. There is nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you, in fact, frankly, some people have this impression that rural urban divide happens. Some people say English, Hindi. Some people say convent educated and government schools. There is no such divide. There is no such divide. You can come from, speak Hindi or even regional language. You will be judged only on your performance in the interview. This is all wrong to say that Hindi people do not have a chance. English, since it is universally spoken, it becomes easier for people to understand, and that is why sometimes people have this say that Hindi if you speak, you will not get good marks. Actually, it does not happen. It is only the content. Huh? Yes. Okay. So first of all, this, there is no differentiation on this convent education, no. Now, this particular question, in any case I was to come to that, the state language. In the academy and also in the state. When I am talking about IAS now, all India services, IAS, IPS, IFOS. Central services, they can be posted anywhere in the country, anywhere. So there you don't have to learn any language, any particular language. But in state, in all India services, you have to learn the language of that state. So the state language is taught in the academy and state also. You have to pass exam. So if you have, supposing the state language is, you get allocated to Kerala, you have to learn Malayalam. And similarly, West Bengal, you have to learn Bengali. Yeah, yes. Write also, read and write both. Yeah, so there is, yeah, English is necessary, but then English also you have to pass an examination. That is true. Yes. In the interview, no. Is there, have you read it somewhere? There is no such thing. No, not at all. Because in any case, the language proficiency you will be getting in the training. There is a 2 years training. 2 years training, you learn everything. You learn every nitty and gritty of administration, every subject. I will tell you what exactly do we do in the academy. But the subject, the language of the state or English as the case may be, they are all taught at the academy. So there is a language teacher at the academy, and then once you go to the state, there also you have to pass a departmental examination comprising many papers: revenue paper, revenue law, criminal law, civil law, language. There are at least dozen papers we have to in the training time. If you do not pass that paper, you will not be given the revenue work or criminal work if you don't pass. For example, criminal law, IPC, CRPC, we have to pass examination and the language also. If you don't pass, you will not get the powers of magistrate or collector. So therefore, these things are a must. That is why 2 years have been prescribed, and these 2 years are very crucial. Why? Tell me, why these 2 years are very crucial? That I will tell you later on. 2 years are very important from the career's point of view. Now tell me why. But I'll tell you. The 2 years are very important because you are on probation. 2 years probation period. If you can be removed from service without following the due process prescribed if you are in probation. So the protection which is available to you during probation, you can be removed from the service if it is found that your conduct has been unbecoming of the public servant. So that is why 2 years you have to work really very hard. And normally when I was in the academy, then for all the examinations conducted in the academy, we were given marks. Those marks were added to these 2750 marks which you scored in the examination. Your seniority in the service was determined by these 2750 marks, isn't it? Interview plus. So your seniority was determined by that. You were allocated cadres also by like that. But once you go to the academy, then say around 650 marks. Whatever it may be, depends year to year. There they are added. And then comes revised seniority. Okay, that also I'll tell you. So I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you. Yes. Okay. So right. Let's come to now academy. So once you pass out, then you get a letter from the Department of Personnel and Training saying that you have been selected. Now, selection, at the time of selection, your cadre is not given. You are selected. And all the candidates undergo foundation course at LBSNAA. LBSNAA is the academy after Lal Bahadur Shastri. It is one of the best academies in the country, and beautiful surroundings, beautiful. Well, one could have named it Sardar Patel also. That also could have been done. But these names are given because of some consideration which were there. Lal Bahadur Shastri was otherwise a very, very amiable leader and very honesty, integrity person. So probably an ethical person. So probably they want to associate ethics with the civil service. So one should be like Lal Bahadur Shastri. That may be a reason. Right. So foundation course, all people who are selected, they go to the foundation course, which is of 4 months. You know, the place LBSNAA is situated in a place called Charleville, Missouri. It is near Company Bagh. It is, if you want to go there, you go to the library point. And from library point you turn right, and about 3-4 kilometers, you will find beautiful. The kind of facilities, infrastructure, buildings, everything is perfect. Because it was a hotel, it was called Charleville Hotel. That hotel was then taken over and converted into an academy. So it has got place for at least 1,000 people together. There are beautiful classrooms, all audio visual facilities there. Huh? It was a hotel. It was a hotel. Yes, it was a hotel. So then it has got excellent classrooms, excellent mess, excellent library, beautiful lungs, gardens, parks, laboratories, everything, sports. So here you learn, number one, education, sports, games, then yoga, PT, horse riding, sports games, lawn tennis. There are all courts there, badminton, football, the games, field games, billiards, and yoga, PT, so horse riding. You can learn in that 4 months period all the games there. You can learn horse riding. There are at some point of time, I think about 30-40 horses, mares were there. And there is a huge ground where you go down and learn horse riding. There is an instructor for horse riding. And then once you become a civil servant, because you see horse riding was compulsory in our times. Now it is probably optional. Because in our times, those old times, there were roads were not constructed everywhere. You had to go on tour. Even cars were not available. Some jeeps were available, but not many. So one had to travel either on horse or cycles. So that is why horse riding was made compulsory. And then all sports games you can learn. So there is a facilities of mess where you get your food, classrooms, sports grounds, lounge, library, halls. Now you get to know everything there. So you get to know, for example, there are a number of clubs. So there can be literary club, film club, yoga club, and so on. So there are many clubs there. You become members, you become the chairman. There are elections sometime held. So you become member of the chairman of the yoga club, president of the yoga club, and there are members. They carry out their activities throughout the year. Cultural club. So many cultural programs are held in which like annual functions, you see, where songs are sung. There is an academy song also, which academy song was made by all languages. How dharmate veer, how karmate veer. Yes, yes. Very good. Yeah. So how dharmate veer. It is derived from all states and languages. Sab kuch, everything. Yeah, every measure. So that is the academy song. And then, as I said, regular clubs, they hold their meetings, they carry out their activities. There is a mess. So where you take breakfast, you take, sometimes formal dinners are also held. Formal dinners when some dignitary has come. So every one of us, there is a dress, formal dress. Formal dress is buttoned up coat, bandgala coat. So you have to come in bandgala coat with a handkerchief here, and you have to sit there, and all manners and etiquettes have to be followed, as if it is between one country and another country. Some dignitary might come, home minister may come, prime minister may come. So a formal dinner is thrown. Okay. So that is where you have breakfast. You have, there is a music system. Music systems are installed which run music all the time while you are taking food, etc. Beautiful scenic surroundings are there, and there are lockers which your letters, your circulars, etc. There are individual lockers. Lockers are also available, which are locked by you, and important things, letters, etc. When we were there, then there was no such thing like WhatsApp. There was nothing mobile. So I used to get letters from my father and my wife and others. So those letters were put in the boxes. And then comes what happens, that during the 4 months foundation course, yeah, privacy. Real culture. Actually what happened is that there has been a tendency on the part of those who have been selected to go on before the social media, write blogs, carry out interviews. They sometimes sit at the mock interview also, and I was amazed, surprised, because the first and foremost thing which is important is that the civil servant should be faceless, anonymous. So therefore, writing blogs from the academy, even later on also, during the service, we are all bound by conduct rules. The use of media and social media is generally admissible. Number one, with the permission of the competent authority. And number two, it should be used only for propagating the government public policies, schemes and programs. For example, if you have to propagate Swachh Bharat, yes, take the help of social media. If you have to talk about Ujjwala, do that. But don't do it for personal promotion. But people are doing it for personal promotion, which is bad, which is wrong. And I may say with humility, it is not giving a very good picture of the civil service. Civil service must be totally apolitical. Number one, it should not crave for publicity for oneself. It should not be giving statements in the newspapers or on electronic media or on social media. It should be totally anonymous, like an army general. Army is anonymous. Civil service should also be anonymous. Anonymity. So some of the, rightly so, if the director of the academy, he must have taken notice of that, which is, and it is, and one more thing which people don't understand, while they are in the academy, they are under probation. They can be removed from service without, it is without carrying out through the normal inquiry, which is done in the case of a confirmed civil servant. They don't require, it can be removed. And it is an act unbecoming of the public servant to start out blogs and social media while in the academy, even afterwards also. For personal promotion is something which civil servants should not do. The personal the promotion, the politician is supposed to be in front. but the civil servant must be behind. Yes. So that is well, he may have his own views about it. Now, he might have given this statement because some people have become very unethical, and I really don't know the reason, but I can only say this thing, that ethics paper may have different effects on different people. Some people it will have very high effects, some people will have no effect, but even if it leaves a 10% impact on the people, it is good enough. In academy also, those people who complete their training in the academy, when they come out, some people remain ethical throughout their lifetime, throughout their career. Some people, the moment they are out of the academy boundaries, they become unethical. They start thinking about a house and a vehicle and other things. And in some people, it remains in varying degree, some for 5 years, some for 10 years, some for 20 years, and so on. So, my view is ethics paper is the correct thing. It should be introduced. Whether it has a result or not, even if it does not have 100% result, if it leaves some imprint in the mind of the person, it is good enough. Whatever your parents say, not everything we carry out, but some of the things we do carry out. So therefore, even if it affects us in some way, it's worth it. So therefore, my view is that introduction of ethics paper was a good move. We should not judge just by some of the unethical acts done by some people. He must have his own ways. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you. So, cadre allocation, now there are zones. So, in every zone there are 4 or 5 zones. In every zone there are states, 4 or 5 states. So, there are 4 or 5 zones and 4 or 5 states. Normally they are zones 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in every zone there are states numbered. So, for example, in the zone 1 can be Haryana, Punjab, Himachal, Delhi, and so on. Similarly, in some zone it can be Kerala, Tamil Nadu. I am not saying that these are the zones, but every zone will have some states. Now, you have to indicate your state, which state. So, you have to first of all write zone. So, you will say my first zone is this, second is this, third is this, fourth is this. So, this is how now in the first zone also you will again give a preference. Punjab 1, Delhi 2, Haryana 3, HP 4. So, now you have indicated that you want to go to first zone, and in the first zone also your state is preference is Punjab. Now, the allocation of the seats is like this. State total seats that year available that year. The year on which you are getting selected. So, total number of seats state wise, say for example UP. Supposing UP there are 20 seats. Haryana for example will be much less, 4 seats. Bihar would be say 8 seats. Tamil Nadu similarly. Depending upon the retirements and the vacancies, every state is allocated a number of seats. First of all, they ask the state, the DOPT asks the states, how many officers would you like us to send to your state, IAS officers? So they will say, we have got so many vacancies. Depending upon the retirement, depending upon the officers who are working in central deputation. So the number of officers which are required at the state level, that is indicated by the state. So now supposing these are the vacancies. Now the vacancies insider, outsider. So generally ratio keeps on changing. When I was there, it was 50-50. 50 insider, 50 outsider. So for example, insider 10 seats, outsider 10 seats. Now amongst the 10 seat also there will be reservations. Here also and here also reservations. So people are become so knowledgeable that they calculate now as to whether this year my turn may come in as an insider or not. So there will be for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC, PWD and EWS, and then general, remaining general. Normally general is about 40%. About, just approximately. So now if you have applied here, as your preference, then there is a software, computer software, which has got all these inbuilt things. And that then you go to, supposing you have done very well, you are in the top people, then you may get your as an insider. But supposing insider there are only 10 seats and out of that also general is 4 seats. So 4 seats are general. Now if there are 4 people above you in the merit list who also have given UP as the insider, then you will not get. But supposing 4 seats are there, you are number 2 in the insider, then you will get UP according to that. The rank which you have got, that is the merit list. So you may get, and that is why it takes sometimes luck also plays an important part. Number of seats which are there. So yeah. So that also is possible. For example, you belong to UP, but you want to go to Maharashtra. Yeah. So you will write first preference that zone which contains Maharashtra. So for example, supposing this was Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, it can be. So you will Karnataka. So you will give this as the first preference, this zone. And in this also you will give Maharashtra first preference. This is how the allocation is done. So everything depends on your merit. And vis-a-vis your seniority, vis-a-vis other candidates who have done it. Supposing there are no people above you who want insider quota. Now here you will come as an outsider. So what happens if you are from UP and you want to go to Maharashtra, you will come as an outsider. You will not come as an insider. So outsider, as I said, in my times it used to be 50-50. But later on it became 25-75. 25 insider, 75 outsider. I do not know presently what is the ratio, what ratio they have kept for insider, outsider. But then you have to do some calculation to find out whether you can go there as an insider, because reservations are also there. So have you understood what the procedure? This is this procedure. Okay. Now let me just give you an example. I secured a position around 40th in the country. 1976 exam, 77 batch. 77 batch. I belong to 77. So say I got around 40 position. Now there were UP gives lot many candidates. So this insider quota was 2020. That there were 20 seats. In fact, 26 seats were there, if I remember. So 13 insider, 13 outsider. In 13 also, almost 50% go to reservation. So there will be, say, 7 reservations, 6 general. So I had opted, and you know, those times we did not have this state preference. The only thing they asked was, if do you want to go your home state or not? That's all. That's all. There were no zones. Huh? So I said yes. I want to go to UP. But the number of candidates who were above me in the merit list, UP contributes a lot on the top. So there were about 6-7 people who were above me. So I was not to get insider quota. So I could not get UP. But the system of distribution at that time was like this. States, seniority. States were arranged in alphabetical order. So A is Arunachal Pradesh, B is Bihar, and coming to Chhattisgarh. Then supposing it was G was Gujarat, then Haryana, then Himachal. So it was arranged alphabetically, and seniority was there. So the boy who was one step senior to me, he got Gujarat, G. I was the next person, I got Haryana. So it was just luck. But now this alphabetical thing is gone. It is zone wise, and it's a very scientific, and again it depends on luck also. Cadre. So this is how the cadre allocation is done. Now let's talk about foundation course. So foundation course is for 4 months, and then there is 8 months professional course. Now IAS, the foundation course for all services is LBSNAA. Professional course IAS is LBSNAA. For other services, IFS, it is I think Ghaziabad. There is an academy, they have their own academies. IPS it, Sahib, Hyderabad, IAAS Simla. So 8 months you go and spend there. IRS, Nagpur, and customs, if I remember correctly, it's near Delhi. So 8 months, IAS continues to remain at the LBSNAA for 1 year. But all others then leave after 4 months. They go to their respective academies, and they have got their long duration course. In fact, for different services it is different. For example, Nagpur it is about 16 months. In others, very different academies have got different times. Once that is, and while in the academy, you get to hear great subject matter experts, President, PM, HM, other ministers, Speaker, maybe great economists, scientists, everyone, the top of the line, industrialists, professors, VCs, plus people of repute, they come and deliver lecture. So just like this hall, there are number of lecture halls, and the person comes and he is introduced, and you know someone, one escort officer is always attached to that person, whosoever comes for speaking. So in order to take care of him, so that he does not face any problem, one officer is escort officer is attached to that person. And then they give about 2 hours speech or whatever time is there, and then there are questions. So you get to learn many things from these political parties. Also people come, so that you know about the psyche of the various political parties, the thinking process of various political parties, and scientists, economists, lawmakers, advocates. So in fact you name it, they are always all there. And then you get to see films, beautiful films, Hollywood, Bollywood, recreational, social purpose, you see films. And then you are given lectures there. So lectures are your curriculum. What are there? Civil law, criminal law, revenue law, economics, sociology, public administration, psychology, science, maths, all things which are relevant to you in your later years as service. There are experts, there are classes which are held, and then there are many rewards and awards. So rewards and awards: best probationer, all-rounder, best person in the academics, best person in sports, best person in literary. So awards and rewards, that also. Now in our time, and it varied from time to time, the assessment at the academy was also added to the total score which you had got in the examination. So supposing 2750 you got in the examination, so about 600 marks you get out of 600. So those marks added, and then a revised seniority was drawn. All India seniority was revised then. So my seniority, for example, I was a very keen type of probationer, used to study too much. There were some people who were not bothered, who are mostly merry-making, and they occupied very high position, and then they slid down. I was able to improve my position, say from 40th to 13th. So I became the 13th seniority in my batch. Now that helps at the time of when your top level appointments are there, chief secretary or cabinet secretary or home secretary. So depends now whether they are added or not. It needs to be seen, because they sometimes make different changes. But nevertheless, you must work hard even in the academy, because the impression, 2 years annual confidential reports are given, 1 year definitely at the academy. So ACRs are given. Now the ACRs are called APRs. which is called annual performance reports. Throughout your career, you will be getting APRs, annual performance reports. It's a longish document in which targets, achievements, integrity, honesty, creativity, innovation, then things connected with taking decision making, problem solving, all these attributes and traits, they are written in the ACR. And then marks are given total. Out of 10, outstanding would be 8 to 10. Very good would be something like 6 to 8, 6 to 7, and average, a good will be 5 and 4. So the marks are given at the end of the year by whom? Who gives the marks? So at the academy, there is a counselor, there is a teacher. It can be an IAS officer, it can be from any other service, IPS also. But every state, every probationer has got a counselor who counsels that probationer. He gives marks, he or she gives marks, and marks, that is annual performance report, which is then the academy director then seconds it or changes it. There are 3 people who normally give you marks throughout your service. They are called as reporting authority, reviewing authority, and accepting authority. Now, for example, when I joined the service, so my reporting authority will be, in the academy it will be the counselor, and then director. Director will be the reviewing authority, director of LBSNAA. But when you join service, I mean when you get posted, if I was the SDM, the first posting as IAS, so my first report will be written by my DM or DC, then commissioner, then chief secretary and CM. So throughout your service you will earn your reports, and yours promotion, your coming to Government of India will depend on your APRs. Nowadays this present government has introduced a system of 360 degrees assessment. You must have read through. But the 360 degrees says they will find out not only from their seniors which they have recorded, but also juniors, your juniors who have worked with you, your colleagues also, and from different other sources also, they will try to find out about you. So that is called as 360 degrees assessment. So this is how the teachings, etc., they will be going on. There will be competitions, billiards competition and lawn tennis championship and table tennis championship. And everyone, in our times there used to be, in every room there were 2 officers who were allocated. And you know how they were allocated? In the foundation course, they will never put 2 IAS officers together. Because service allocation you have already got, cadre you don't get, but service allocation you get. So they will never put 2 IAS officers together. They will post 1 IAS officer with another officer from some other service. So there's a camaraderie. Ultimately, the camaraderie should build up with other services. So in one case, my Indian Forest Service officer was there with me. Another case, it was Ordnance Factory officer was with me. So this is how, but twin sharing basis. But now I assume that they are given, everyone is given 1 single room, separate room. So that is the how you live, and you get breakfast in the morning, you get tea. There is a peon attached to all those rooms. So there are a number of rooms. There are a number of blocks also. So there are blocks in the academy.
With UPSC Prelims 2025 knocking at your doorstep, are you feeling the jitters? Is the vast syllabus making you anxious, and are you struggling to use these last months effectively to revise and brush up your knowledge? Stay calm and take charge of your preparation. Utilize these last months effectively to revise each subject thoroughly with the quick revision classes for General Studies Prelims 2025 starting on 5th February at 1 p.m. These classes offer comprehensive coverage of key subjects and topics for quick revision. Seize the opportunity and stand out in UPSC Prelims with targeted documents like the Quick Revision module. Commence your quick revision classes for features including thematic coverage of GS syllabus, coverage of core subjects like polity, economy, and more, personalized one-on-one mentoring support, comprehensive and updated quick revision module, integrated assessment and feedback. In these last crucial months, act wisely and choose the smart revision strategy to excel in UPSC Prelims. Looking for strong revision, innovative curriculum and dedicated mentoring for the General Studies paper of UPSC Prelims 2025? With only a few months left for the prelims exam, does the lack of mentoring, robust syllabus and absence of revision strategy make you anxious? Vision IAS has the perfect solution for you. Join the Fasttrack course 2025, covering every aspect of students' preparation including coverage of GS Prelims syllabus, dedicated mentoring and guidance for performance maximization, regular practice with sectional mini tests, access to PT 365 for current affairs preparation, performance assessment and feedback. Available both offline and online, choose the program mode as per your convenience and excel in GS Prelims with high scores. Admission to the course now open.
Struggling to stay consistent with your preparation? Can't figure out how to integrate current affairs into prelims and mains practice? Introducing Daily Practice on Vision IAS Digital Current Affairs 2.0, your step-by-step approach to mastering both prelims and mains. Here's how it works. Daily MCQs for prelims to build accuracy and speed. Mains answer writing exercises to sharpen your analytical skills. Instant feedback to improve and track your progress. Move away from the traditional method, switch to Vision IAS Digital Current Affairs and get 5,000 plus ready-to-use UPSC level questions, instant feedback for structured writing and comprehensive coverage for prelims and mains. Consistency is key. With daily practice on Vision IAS Digital Current Affairs, you stay on track, sharpen your skills and build confidence every day. Daily practice, daily progress, Vision IAS Digital Current Affairs 2.0 launching soon.
One can be Valley View 1, Valley View 2, and there can be the number of blocks which are there. So every block has got say 10 rooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there is one peon who is attached with these people. So he comes in the morning, give tea, he takes the clothes for washing, and any other work which you want to get something from the market, you pay him some amount, he goes to the market. So one peon is there, and as I said, one counselor with every probationer. Counselor can be from any service, can be IAS, IPS. They are generally the deputy directors, the joint directors. So you see what happens is, during our service, you will get many chances to be posted in the academies also. IAS, IPS or any service, they get sometimes choices. So the DOPT circulates vacancies which are there. Vacancy can be in a bank, vacancy can be in an PSU, vacancy, for example, Chief Vigilance Officers. Vacancy in the academy also. They said that anyone who wants to become Deputy Director in the academy, he may apply. So this is how the selection is done. And officers who want some peace they want to go back to their academy. So they give their option that we would like to go to the academy for 3 years again. So they become the counselors. Have you understood what I am trying to say? You will all be under one counselor. So there will be one PN to take care of this. There are a number of this, Happy Valley. The number of blocks are there. Now, you reside there, and then during the training, Bharat Darshan, by the way, there is also one hospital, one dispensary there, so that किसी को बुखार आ जाए, किसी को बीमार हो जाए, he is also taken care of there. So Bharat Darshan. So Bharat Darshan is, you go to different parts of the country and you see the important places in that country. So some people will, there are a number of routes which are created. Some people will like to see eastern India, some southern India, some people western India, some in the north. So this is how Bharat Darshan, maybe from 12 to 15. You know, when we were there, we were only traveling by train. There were no air, nothing was allowed air. Now everything is, you are allowed to go by air. So what used to happen was, one bogie was reserved for us, in which those 10, 12 people who were going on that route. So we used to travel, and there were no air conditioned bogies there. There were normal bogies. So we used to travel. Same salary, full salary. During your academy, during your probation, you get exactly the same salary as if you were in service. Now I think it will be around 40,000-50,000 rupees. Something like that. Including all the the food which you eat, there is a bill from the mess we have to pay every month. So supposing you quality of food is because the food is regulated by the candidates themselves, by the officers themselves. They oversee. There is a mess club. So the mess club, the mess club, there is a president and there are members. So they regularly check the quality of food. Food generally in the academy is very good, very good. That deduction for provident fund or insurance, that is there, and the bill which you have to pay there, that you have to. The deduction is not made for that, you have to pay the bill, but deductions are made for provident fund and insurance, all those deductions. The hostels in my times, hostels were free, only the food was chargeable. So that is how. And then Bharat Darshan, you go for 12 to 15 days. Then second is army attachment. So in order to understand how defense forces work, their contribution, the hard life which they undergo. So you are sent to an army unit. I was sent to Aizawl in the northeast. So different units are, someone can go to Jammu and Kashmir, someone can go to Rajasthan. So different army units are attached, again for 10 to 15 days. In fact 7 to 10 days was normally. Third is village visit. So you go there and stay in a village, looking after the various developmental works which are carried out, how Panchayati Raj system works. So you stay in a place within the village. It can be a Panchayat Ghar, it can be a community building, it can be a school. So you are made to, normally the villages which we were used to go was from UP only. Now Uttarakhand. Those days UP and Uttarakhand, there was no such thing. UP was, it was undivided UP. But now, so the villages were of Uttar Pradesh. So everyone was allocated a village. So about 10-15 people, probationers, will go there. Okay. Now, fourth, trekking. So you undergo a trekking. So there are at least 10-15 trekking destinations. Valley of Flowers, and then Gomukh, then Gangotri and Yamunotri, all those difficult places where you have to do climbing, kind of mountaineering or trekking. So many people are very enthusiastic, and there, if they have to go on a very high trek, then their oxygen levels are also checked, whether the endurance, that also is checked. And then they go to, sometime people, they were lost also, and then helicopter search was also done. So because the treks are sometimes very difficult treks. So the treks, that is to bring in discipline, hard work, labor, at the same time excursion also. Then parliament attachment. So you go to Delhi, and Delhi you go and get attached to the Raj Sabha, to the Lok Sabha. So you meet the speaker, you meet the chairman of Raj Sabha, Vice President of India, see the proceedings of the parliament in session. So that also is very interesting. You sit in the visitors lounge and you observe how the parliament proceedings are going on. And then you visit many important institutions in Delhi and around Delhi. In and around Delhi, important institutions. Yes, correct. There is a visitors lounge. Seats are there. So the visitors are supposed to sit there. They cannot speak. They can only hear. So in the same thing happens in the state legislature also. You have a visitors gallery where you are supposed to sit, and there is a press gallery also. So the pressmen are given one gallery. They sit there, they record the proceedings, and similarly any visitor, it can be a politician, can be an officer, anyone, there is a visitors gallery. So in around Delhi, for example, the tourist places, Lal Killa and Qutub Minar, and national institutes of repute. So it can be Institute of Public Policy. So there can be many institutions in and around Delhi. So you visit those institutions. And then Secretariat. Training. You are attached, you are as posted as under secretary there for some time to understand how the files work, how the notings are recorded, because you will be in all India services, you will get an opportunity to serve either in the state or in the center. Similarly, central services also get an opportunity. Every civil service has an opportunity to come to central deputation. Central deputation, we have got all the central subjects under the central list. You have, what do you have? Defense, post and telegraph, telecommunication, home, information broadcasting, coal, mines, No. If you want to come to Delhi, then you have to fill up a form. Depending upon your seniority, at the early levels, if you want to come after 5 years of seniority, then you will be posted in all probability as under secretary. Then if you are slightly more senior, you will become deputy secretary. Slightly more senior, you will become director. Slightly more senior, you will become joint secretary. If supposing you have to fill up yourself. So many times what happens is state government does not relieve. West Bengal, yes, correct. So state government can refuse. Now then after that an amendment was made in the DOPT rules, All India Service rules, that if the center wants a particular officer, then if the state government refuses, then the central government can take a decision overruling the decision of the state. So that has been amended because of that incident which took place in West Bengal, one of the former chief secretaries. So then you come on central deputation. Central deputation, remember one thing, anyone can come. Anyone means All India services, central services, IFS, diplomatic service, all people can come on central deputation. Different seniority levels you will get different here. For example, if there is a seniority, you see it's called empanelment. Everyone is not empaneled. Empanelment is done by your annual performance reports and also whether you have a earlier experience in Government of India or not. That is why one must, if you are interested in going to the Government of India, become secretary of a department, you must spend some time as deputy secretary or joint secretary or director. You must spend some time in Government of India, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Otherwise you will not be empaneled as the secretary or additional secretary. So there are many people who are not empaneled as secretary. They can go to sidelines post. For example, chairman, managing director of a corporation. But in Government of India, it is the secretary who matters a lot. And there are 2 posts in fact who matter. One, the secretary and the joint secretary. They are at the cutting edge level. So therefore, if you want to go do a really career planning, you should plan it this way. Now how do we, I am talking about IAS. Other services also I will tell you in a while. So what will happen is, if you want to plan your service, so initially in IAS, 5 to 6 years in field. Yeah, IAS. IPS also it will be applicable. 5 to 6 years in field. Then you go to the director, head of the department. Head of the department, for example, director sports, director agriculture, director industries. So you are the director. You know the hierarchy is like this. First of all state, then center, I will tell you. Center, states under secretary and the secretariat, and at the field it is SDM who is under secretary. Then you become DM or DC or director. They are generally same level. So you must, if you want to go to Government of India, you must go to Government of India as director. But this is first of a state I am telling you. You become SDM, you become DM, you become director. Then you become commissioner Now when we talk about director, we also include managing director. So MD of a public sector undertaking. So you will, for example, marketing federation, you will become the managing director. You can be industrial development corporation managing director. So understand this thing very clearly. In the state, one is the field, one the secretariat. This is also field. So first of all, 5 to 6 years in the field, you will become SDM, ADC, ADM, DM. This is the, you spend about 5 to 6 years in the field. Then you become director, which is secretariat. I am talking about state level. So you become director, head of the department. Then you become commissioner. Here you also have managing director. Commissioner, then you have secretary, then you become principal secretary, then additional chief secretary, then chief secretary. So this is the pattern of your posting in the state. Now, in the center, what is the position? Have a look at it. Now, because it is, why I am telling you these things is, sometimes we are not in a position to do career planning. In the center, central government, we get officers from all services, not only IAS but every other service. Central government, you have under secretary, deputy secretary, director, joint secretary, additional secretary, special secretary, secretary, cabinet secretary. So this is the pattern here. Now you will ask me this question, how do you plan your career? So you plan your career like this, 5 to 6 years in the field, which is a must. That is the one. After that, you go to director in the secretariat. After this, you may choose to go as either deputy secretary or as director in Government of India. You see, central government, the ranking is one step ahead of the state government. That means if there is a secretary here, he will be joint secretary here. Normally, it is one step. State is secretary, will be just joint secretary there. Similarly, principal secretary will probably become additional secretary. Only the chief secretary will become the secretary. So what will happen after doing your this two? You can go as director. Now why this is important is, if you don't do this three, you will never be able to come as secretary. They require an experience of working in the central secretariat. So a person who has done all this but has never been to the Government of India, he will never be able to come as special additional secretary, special secretary, secretary and cabinet secretary. Never. Empanelment is done. Empanelment is presided by the cabinet secretary. The Prime Minister's principal secretary sits there and one or two other secretaries. Every year, officers from different seniority, they are empaneled. So you can be empaneled as secretary, then you can come as secretary to the Government of India. So it's a very well designed process. In state, the promotions take place on the basis of APRs. So there is something known as DPC. What is DPC? What is DPC? Departmental Promotion Committee. So, the Departmental Promotion Committee sits, holds a meeting, finds out the APRs, how that person has done, then it promote. What are the scales in IAS? Junior scale, senior scale, junior administrative grade, senior administrative grade, commissioner, and then additional chief secretary. So this is how the in the civil service the promotions generally are automatic, and you get on time. In other services there is no such thing like that. Other services you get to promoted only when there are posts which are vacant, not in civil service. Even if the posts are not there, the state government has got powers to create temporary posts for 6 months. Now, can you tell me how it helps? Supposing my batchmates in other states have become commissioners, but there are no vacancies of commissioner in my state. So I will not get promoted ordinarily, but no, temporary posts are created. And then against those temporary posts, which is allowed for 6 months, one is promoted. And within 6 months, the retirements take place. So those temporary posts automatically get adjusted in the vacancies created as a retirement. So therefore, civil services, the promotional avenues are very fast. You don't have to do anything except hard work. You do your work correctly. Don't get involved in controversies, you will get promoted. So this is the career planning. And now you will ask me that what happens during the service. So let me briefly tell you about that also. Now why we consider it necessary to the government of going to the government of India? Because the exposure that you have in government of India is a national exposure, sometimes international exposure. If you are in the Ministry of Commerce, Finance, Economic Affairs, then in fact in every ministry you are exposed to all national and international facts and figures, policies, programs. So for example, women and child development, you will travel to different countries to know what child development, women child development, how it is being carried out. You may go visit United Nations institutions. You may visit the entire country, how the women child development is carried out in the Kerala or in West Bengal or Gujarat. So you have a much better exposure. So posting in GOI gives lot of exposure, both at domestic and international level. In fact, in all ministries, if it is tribal development, the ministries which are generally regarded as a extremely good ministries are commerce, it can be industries, it can be, for example, finance, and can be coal, it can be power. So these are very good ministries. But all ministries in government of India, whether it's tribal development, women and child development, every ministry does ensure lot of interactions nationally as well as internationally. So you definitely go to visit many places in the world. Every month or every 2 months you are on a tour, international tour. So this gives you much greater insight into how the other governments are working. So that is why. And secondly, domestic. So you get to travel the entire country to know how the public policies are being implemented and formulated at the national level. So even child development, tribal development. It can be, for example, ministries like, it can be cooperation, agriculture, industry, women, child development, economics, the economic affairs, commerce. You can also go to Niti Aayog. Sky is the limit where you can go on central deputation. Absolutely, and now you were asking this question, do I have a choice for a particular ministry? You can fill up your choice, but you may or may not get it, because that is done by the Government of India, and generally governments do not like interference. Generally, particularly this present government decides things purely on merit. So it is good candidates are rewarded, they get good ministries. So, and then it is also done in consultation with the concerned minister. For example, you have written coal ministry. So the minister for coal will also be consulted. That there are 5 candidates who have applied. You will like to have a look at them, so he will have a look at them. He'll say, I would like to pick up this particular person. So it all depends at the higher level. You may or may not get that ministry. But whatever ministry you get, you will get a chance to showcase your abilities, that performance in that ministry. Okay, so then you also get an opportunity of study leave. 2 years, full pay. So you can go to a foreign university, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge. You can go to an institute like MIT. You can go to an institute like Rochester. So a number of universities are there. You can go to study management, law, economics. So that is a great opportunity. You get 2 salaries. So you can get 2 salaries. One your own salary and the stipend which is paid by that particular program. So this is how full pay. So what happens is that different levels of experience are required for different types. Normally after 5 years you become eligible. They will less than 5 years generally they don't send, but normally it is 5 years, but it can keep on changing also. But after 5 years you will get many opportunities of going abroad. You can also take an opportunity of going to different banks. For example, ADB, Asian Development Bank, World Bank, and so on. Number of institutions are there. United Nations. So study leave of 2 years. You can also go to universities. Okay. So that study leave is option is there. Then trainings. It keeps on changing. 1 week training is there. 2 weeks is there. 3 weeks is there. Sometimes even more than 3 weeks. So they will circulate something that the training on management, training on agriculture, training on change management. So there can be different subjects. For example, even the Isha's Foundation. Isha's Foundation is there, na? That is in Coimbatore, near Coimbatore. That's Sadhguruji. So the institution, that institution is also one of the places where you can go for training. Training on meditation, training on rejuvenating your mind and peace. So these are number of places where you can go for trainings, again with full pay. And they ask and never miss a training. I can tell you one thing which you must understand, that work goes on. You don't require, some people think that without them, the work will come to a stop. There is no such thing. There is no indispensability. Indispensable, you are not indispensable, isn't it? Everyone can do the work. So this notion which some people have, that without them the work will not, it does not. So go for trainings, go for international training, go for seminars, and then there are trainings, and then there are meetings which can take place in India, abroad. So meeting on agriculture, meeting on credit, meeting on cooperation, meeting on industry, meeting on police reforms, meeting on administrative reforms. So sometimes these meetings are held, and you can represent your state, you can represent your country, and so on. So this is the trainings, that opportunity also you get, trainings and meetings. So that is why almost every month you will be going on some visit or the other. Touring is necessary. So even for tribal development, which is regarded as a sideline ministry, but a lot of positive things can be done in that. And if you want to really work in an area where you want to leave mark, then you should go to the social welfare ministry, women and child development, tribal affairs. So these are some of the important ministries where you can showcase your work also. But generally what happens is that people vie to get into the most important ministries, which are the commerce, which is revenue, finance. So they are very important ministries. But then in Government of India, everyone is important. And then you become, if you reach the top level, then you become Cabinet Secretary. Yes. Cabinet Secretary is the person, is the Secretary of the Cabinet. So just like every Cabinet Minister has got one Secretary, Coal has got, Power has got, the Cabinet, there is a Secretary which is called Cabinet Secretary. So he presides, he sits on the Cabinet meetings, records the minutes of the meeting, and advises the Prime Minister about different things. And that is how the government works. So, so now when you will complete your academy training, you will go for professional training. Now we have talked about IAS just now. Similarly, in IPS, you will go to a training in the Hyderabad, NPA. So there also you will undergo a 8 months or 10 months, whatever time prescribed, you get to learn everything about the service. Foundation course is general. It is equally applied to all services. Professional is professional, that is specific to that service. For example, income tax, you will be getting to know every nuances of income tax, capital gains tax. Similarly, the central excise and customs, they will learn about GST and other things. Similarly, audit and accounts, they will learn about audit and accounts. So in every ministry, every service, you will get to know about that service in great detail, about 8 to 10 months. Then after you complete that, then there is a district training or field training. So normally what happens is that 2 years probation. This training, number one is 4 months in foundation course. Normally 8 to 12 months you have got professional training, depends upon the service also, and then field training. So you get to occupy the field. So field, you go and deal with the actual work there. For example, in IAS, I was attached, you are attached to a collector. Collector means DM or DC. So you get to work in close coordination with that collector. You are under trainee. You are normally called as Assistant Commissioner under trainee, ACUT. ACUT, Assistant Commissioner under training. Now here there is no such responsibility fixed on you. It is basically, you have to understand how things actually happen at the field. For example, Assistant Commissioner under training. The police officer who is posted, he is called, what is he called? Just like ACUT, he is called as ASP. No, not additional, Assistant SP. Assistant ASP under training, ASP under training. During training, you are not, you are given responsibility for a brief period in everything. For example, in IAS, you will perform the job of BDO also for 1 or 2 months. You will perform the job of the Tehsildar also. You will perform the job of an agriculture officer or any other in the jails also. So this basically ACUT, or in the police it's called ASP under training. They get to learn the nuances of how things operate. And this is the time when one should keep on asking questions. Because after that it will be difficult for you to ask question once you are posted. If you then ask question, then people will laugh at you. Oh, IAS ban gaya, but he doesn't know even the basics. So this is that field training which provides you the requisite online hands-on experience. Hands-on experience. For example, I wanted to learn the nuances of revenue law. So I requested the Tehsildar to please depute your patwari, who can take me to the actual fields and tell me how to measure the fields with the help of a jarib. Jarib is a measure. Nowadays everything is now with machines is done, but during those times the land distances were measured by a jarib. Jarib was a iron chain. Yeah. How to write, how to register a mutation, how to sanction a mutation. Mutation, you know what is mutation? Mutation is something when the land changes hands. It can be by sale, it can be by gift, it can be by inheritance. So mutation is recorded. Supposing this land belongs to someone's father, the father passes away. Something like, so it can be a natural descent or through a will. So the father may give a will that my property will go 20% to him, 30% to him, 50% to him. Or if supposing he is not any will, it will go equally amongst all the people. So that is mutation. So learning mutation. Then how to record the crops, see the crops, which is a wheat crop, which is a paddy crop, which is a gram crop. These are all things you must learn in the field training. How to write a noting on the file. So this is an opportunity. 2 years, if you work hard, you will be able to achieve very good success later on. And in fact, after 2 years, then you get posted. Now, well, let me tell you in 2 years' time. What happens is that the collector, he oversees your work. So every day, whenever the collector is going on tour, I will accompany him. He will go to a village, and beforehand we inform the villagers that the collector is going to come there. So the collector will come, I will accompany him under training, and then he will meet the people. He will say, पानी पहुंच रहा है कि नहीं खेत में किनारे तक, बिजली आ रही है कि नहीं आ रही है, भाई विकास के कार्य कुछ हुए हैं कि नहीं आपके गांव में. So he will ask many questions, and then those who are elders of the village, they will assemble at the guest house where we will stay for the night. Next morning they will come and we will ask them whether the development is being carried out or not. There was a very good, very intelligent collector, and he used to establish relations with the people in this way. So he will, before going for any tour, he will ask the Zilla Sainik Welfare Officer. So there is an officer called Zilla Sainik Welfare Officer who looks after the servicemen, service people from the army and ex-servicemen. So he will take a list of those people who are on the border fighting for the country, and those who are ex-servicemen. So he will go there and in the village and he will say, अरे भाई वो मनोहर लाल की बेवा का क्या हाल है, उसको भाई ठीक तरह से कोई देख रहा है, बच्चे बच्चे उसको देख रहे हैं कि नहीं देख रहे हैं, या फिर भाई वो लाजपत था, वो फील्ड में वहाँ पर फील्ड में था, आपका लड़का सेकंड लेफ्टिनेंट, उसके क्या हाल है, सब कुछ. नाउ इन दिस वे ही यूज्ड टू एस्टैब्लिश रिलेशनशिप. लोग कहते थे अरे कलेक्टर को ये भी मालूम है कि हमारा बच्चा जो है वहाँ पर है. तो दे यूज्ड टू फील वेरी वेरी इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दैट. दिस इज व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड. You have to get involved with the people. So, and then in service, this question is often asked, that why civil service? Now, that answer I have given on a number of occasions, but I would like to mention this, and also since you have raised this issue that what types of questions are asked. So, there is something called as DAF which is filled up, DAF 1 and DAF 2. Which gives details of your place, name, place of birth, correspondence address, occupation, father's and mother's occupation, graduation subject, subjects, year, कब पास किया, whenever you passed, then optional, subject, employment, where worked earlier, where worked, earlier, and hobbies and achievements. And two more things are added, cadre preference and service preference. This is your DAF, and this is available to all the members who are sitting on the interview board. So the questions will be asked on all these things. So let me tell you some examples. Name. What is the meaning of your name? Is there any other person in the world who is a namesake who has made a name? For example, someone whose name is Sachin. So he'll say, is there any other person by the name of Sachin who has made a name? What is the significance of, say, 30th January? Supposing the interview is being held on 30th January. 30th January has got some importance. What is that? Exactly. So therefore, the date of interview and the name. Then place of birth. You were born in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. So everything about Kanpur you should know. Everything about Uttar Pradesh you should know. So the crops which are sown, the industries which are there, the flyovers which have been constructed, road network, underground water potential, irrigation potential, industrial policy, labor, cost of land. So all these things which are for that state, the strengths of the state. Then they can ask, what are some of the controversial things attached to the state? So they can ask question, what is bulldozer policy? Do you think it is the right thing to do? So police encounter, extrajudicial killings took place in UP. Love jihad controversy. So there are a number of things which they can ask. Do you think bulldozer justice is a correct thing? The answer would be that the required formalities as prescribed under the rules and law must be followed. Rule of law must prevail. So even if you have to demolish the illegal structure, you have to give a notice and then only proceed. So the principle of rule of law and natural justice. Coming to police encounter, you will say no, police can only fire in self-defense. They are not supposed to fire at the people and kill them, because killing a criminal is the right of the judiciary. So you will say that. There can be controversial questions like Article 370, love jihad, hijab controversy, demonetization, same-sex marriage, marital rape, live-in relationships, Ayodhya temple, surgical strikes. So there can be reservation, corruption. So there can be many controversial topics also. So be prepared for that controversial topics, which will be current affairs. So current affairs, read newspaper, one English newspaper and one economic newspaper. From now on, make it a habit. And those news which are important in those newspaper, cut them down. Cut them, paste them on a piece of paper and prepare files subject wise. Some files may be on leadership, some on women development, some child development, something can be on industry, something can be agriculture. So prepare subject wise files and cut it from the newspaper, paste it on a paper, write down on that Indian Express date such and such. That will be a lot of, it's a bank of knowledge which you are preparing. Now, correspondence address, if supposing it is different from the home address, you have to prepare for that also. Supposing you are now working in Delhi, so you have to know about Delhi. What are the historical spots in Delhi? What are the challenges in Delhi? So pollution, traffic congestion, drinking water, garbage, the governor, lieutenant governor and the state government at loggerheads. So these are the problems of Delhi. You must know that. Then comes father and mother's occupation. If your father is a farmer, are you assisting him? Okay, all right. What are 3 farm laws? Why did they fail? Why did they have to be taken back? Prime Minister has said about doubling the agriculture farmers' income. Is it possible? Similarly, MSP. They can ask questions on MSP. Technology in agriculture. They can ask questions on that. Similarly, if he is a businessman, what are the taxes he is paying? Income tax, all right. So tell me about the new regime of income tax. GST he is paying, all right. About GST, what were the collections in the last quarter? Have they increased or have they decreased? What is the total GST collections of the country? So anything about father's, mother's occupation. If your mother is a teacher, new education policy to 2020, what exactly is in that? Specific things about it. Then your subject, graduation. In the graduation you might have taken history, geography, physics, chemistry, mathematics, chemical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering. So be prepared on that. You have to know the subject. You can't take the saying कि जी वो तो 3 साल पहले पढ़ा था तो बोल रहे हो. You can't do that. So then optional subject which you have taken. If you have taken sociology, anthropology or PSIR, you must prepare on that. PSIR is a very wide subject. All international relations you have to prepare. India and its neighbors. What difference is going to be made, because Pakistan has now got a status of non-permanent member of the Security Council. What impact will it have vis-a-vis India? Trump's entry into the United States as president for the second time. What do you think will be the effect on the world order? What are the global problems that we are facing? Migration, terrorism, climate change, AIDS, then poverty, then weapons of mass destruction. So there can be many global problems. They may ask you about them. What United Nations is doing regarding the global problem? For example, COVID, the WHO was the nodal agency. So you have to be prepared for the optional subject. If you have sociology you have taken, you prepare question on sociology. If you have done anthropology, you must prepare on anthropology. Physics, you have to prepare on physics. Mathematics, sometimes simple question are asked, what is Pythagoras theorem? And how do you measure the height of a building? If you are standing on the ground, you can measure the angle. Can you measure the height of the building? Yes. Tangent, we will be able to measure. What is the definition of geometry? What is the definition of algebra? What is pi? What is Ramanujan's contribution to the mathematics? What is National Mathematics Day? So you have to prepare on the optional. And then where you have worked earlier. If you have worked in Tata's, or you have worked in any Amazon or Flipkart or any other company, the details of that, how many people were employed, what is the turnover, what is the profitability, what are the things which you are manufacturing, and so on. Then comes hobbies. Hobbies, don't include too many hobbies, because the more you include, the more you will have to prepare. So include 1 or 2 hobbies only, and the hobby should be one where you are fully knowledgeable. If you write cricket, then you should know cricket. If you write weightlifting, you should know weightlifting. If you write traveling, then you should be ready with giving answers that where you had gone in the last 1 year, you have traveled to different destinations. What is the lesson that you have learned in that? Stamp collection, diary writing, journaling, seeing movies. People write all kinds of hobbies. So write minimum hobbies and you should know about them. Similarly, achievements. So achievements also don't fill up too much. In any case, achievements, they don't contribute anything. They only help the panelists to ask questions. So write 1 or 2 things which is fine, but don't fill it up too much, because if you fill it up too much, every one of those achievements you can be asked question. NSS, NCC, environment. So they can ask questions on that. Hobbies are an important thing on which many questions are put. So this is the, and then comes current affairs, domestic and international. One economic paper. Yeah. Mint is a very good paper. You can take Mint. Even I think Hindu also has got paper which they have brought out. Hindu has got separate business paper also. That is also considered to be good. Economic Times has become too insipid now. The news, I would say, other than Economic Times, you can take any of the papers. Mint is a very good paper. Mint is, you can go to Mint. But my suggestion to you would be that whatever you read in the newspaper, whatever important news items are there, since you are all going to appear in 2026, 25 or this year only you are appearing. So even now, the prelims will be in September, May. The mains will be in September, August. Okay. So even up to May, you have got 4 months now. So start reading newspaper, making cuttings from the newspaper, affixing them on a sheet of paper, A4 paper, write down the name of the newspaper and date, and files, prepare at least 20-30 files on all kinds of subject which are there. So there can be history, there can be geography, there can be women child development, there can be environment, yeah, art and culture. So prepare such files. Now coming to the subjects, first of all, you must understand that don't read directly from the books. Always prepare notes. Now notes help you in two ways. Number one, by writing notes, many of the things automatically get memorized. So what I used to do was, उस समय ज़माने में तख़त होते थे, तो तख़त के ऊपर मैं बैठता था और चारों तरफ अपनी किताबें, I used to surround myself with those books. Supposing I have to prepare on physics, so I will take about 5-6 books which are standard books. I will cull out important things from different books. Somewhere something is important, something has been better in another book. I will then include them in my notes. So cherry picking it is called, the cherry picking, the best things in different. Once you have prepared notes, then leave those books outside and study from the notes. Prepare a list of the PYQs in any case are there, then sample questions are there in those books also. So write down the question and the answer and repeat this again and again, so that the answer, you don't spend any time there, your pen starts working there. So the more the number of questions you attend, the more is the practice. And one thing is that you memorize that automatically. Number two is your speed increases if you write down, and number of your handwriting also improves. So these are the three advantages of preparing notes and then writing on rough sheets the questions and the answers. So let us now, let me come to some of the challenges which the service provides. Now every service has got challenges. In 35 years, you will get, for example, floods, elections. Election normally in your career 3 to 4 times you will get election. Panchayat election, assembly election, parliament election. So you will get at least 3-4 elections during your service. So one is elections, floods, droughts, law and order, social discord happening in the villages, and what else? Women empowerment, industrialization, removing encroachments, protocol duties, receiving the chief minister, the prime minister, the governor. Then development in the villages. There is a 3-tier structure. You will carry out development in the villages. You know what will happen? So I will be collector. So the BDO will come to me and he'll say, sir, this particular village, they want to invite you for laying the foundation stone of their new school building or a panchayat building. And we have given them Manrega funds for construction of the building. So I will go there. Beforehand, I will talk to the BDO. I'll say, what are their demands? Then I will see which demands can be fulfilled. I will go there and I will inaugurate, and then I will say, what are your demands? So there will be speeches, demands will be laid. Those which can be completed, I will accept those demands. And in this way you will become popular. Floods will be there. Cyclones will be there. You will be carrying out rescue operations. Military, for example, terrorism activity sometime will come. You have to carry out, take them to the hospital, look after the families. You have to go carry out social welfare activities, orphans, ladies who have deserted ladies. You have to do implementation of government schemes. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Swachh Bharat, Ujjwala Yojana. Again, that's it. In fact, to tell you frankly, the IAS officer as DM wears many hats. One, that of collector. So you will up to date all revenue records in your district. You will be the head of the revenue administration. You will decide the revenue cases. One is collector. The other is DM, district magistrate. You will be passing orders under section 144, 129, 133, 145. Those powers which are provided under the criminal procedure code. Now a different name has been given to the code. What is that? The 3 codes. Yes. So go through them. Yes. So there are powers of DM. Number 3 is developmental role. Number 4th is coordinating role. Developmental role, you have to carry out in the villages the development, roads, culverts, drains, buildings, you have to carry out development. Then there is a coordinating. Coordinating, you will be have to work for the farmers. So you will coordinate the activities of what are the demands of the farmers, that power should be available, so that their tube wells are working, or the power, and secondly irrigation. The irrigation canals, they should bring water to their fields. Agricultural input should be available, DAP, fertilizer, seeds, pesticides. So what will you be doing there? You will be coordinating. You will be sitting as the head, and you will have a director agriculture sitting, you will have managing director of HAFED sitting, you will have executive engineer of power sitting, executive engineer of irrigation sitting, and you will coordinate that the farmer should get the agricultural inputs and power, irrigation. And then 5th is elections. You carry out as a district election officer and then returning officer. Yes, correct. Then 6th is protocol. So you will receive dignitaries. 7th, you will be carrying out disaster management. There are many other duties, as I told you. One is census, other is government schemes. You have to implement those. So this is you will do as DM. Once you go to the Secretariat, then you will perform the duties of director. So your area will be the entire state. So Women Child Development Director will look after all the districts. So he or she will become the director. Director is subordinate to the secretary. Secretary is the secretary of the department. He works under the minister. The director works under the secretary. He is the head of the department. So you will become a director. So you will monitor all the activities of agriculture, cooperation, women child development, industry in the entire state. And then you will become secretary. So these are the types of activities which you will perform. And in the meanwhile, you will also sometime go as commissioner of the division. Commissioner of the division, Mandal Ayukt. So Mandal Ayukt has got a number of DMs under him. So he coordinates the activities of the DM. So this is the entire gamut of things and the challenges which you will face. Let me give you an example of 1 or 2 challenges. So I was the collector of Chandigarh. Chandigarh is a union territory, but it is the capital of Punjab and Haryana both. So during that 6 years I stayed there, 86 to 91, 6 years as collector. During that time, many challenging situations came. One challenging situation which I would like to mention here, many of you might have, I do not know whether you have seen my videos. So it was regarding a situation which developed on account of Mandal Commission. So during Mandal Commission, what happened was that reservation was provided for the OBCs. So the general category candidates, they came on the ground and they started protesting. Vishwanath Pratap Singh was the Prime Minister at that time. So the entire country was in flames. Everywhere people were destroying public property, going in processions. Chandigarh also, there was not an exception. Chandigarh also we watched every day small college going children, students, they were marching on the road, sometimes destroying public property also. So what we used to do is that we used to surround those people from all sides by police and let them march. Surrounding them helped that they would not create any ugly situation, they would not damage any public property. After going and slogan shouting, we allowed them. We said, let you take out your whatever is inside you, but we don't do any damage to the public property. So we used to surround them and we used to move 5-6 kilometers, after which they will be dead tired. Then our people say, thak gaye na, chalo, ab baith jao. Gaadi, we used to line up buses and we will put them in buses and we will drop them home. So this is how we were going. So every day this ding dong battle was going on, and then something happened in Delhi. One particular incident took place in Delhi which further reinforced the Mandal Commission protest. So you remember there was a boy, Rajiv Goswami. So he carried out immolation, that is Atmadaha. So he doused himself with petrol and kerosene and he was burning like a human torch when he was shifted to the hospital. And by the time he reached hospital, this news spread like wildfire all over the country. So people, the young boys and girls, they started going back to their houses after protest, locking themselves inside their rooms and dousing themselves with petrol and kerosene and set themselves on fire. So the burning like a flame, those boys and girls were shifted to the hospital. Sometimes more than 50% injuries, and it was a very anxious moment, lot of challenge. I had 4 challenges to meet. So first challenge was to ensure the medical attention to the boy or the girl who does the immolation. The first priority is to save him or her. Medical. So the PGI is the best medical hospital in Chandigarh. So we used to shift them invariably to PGI and provide free treatment and attention. Number 2, we used to, there was always a law and order situation whenever this thing happened. So people came on the road, they were very angry with Vishwanath Pratap Singh. They said our children are dying and the Prime Minister is still sitting on those, he is not withdrawing those. So then what happened? Whenever this happened, people came on the road and we had to look after the law and order situation. And law and order situation requires magistrate and police force. So we had to put a lot of magistrates and police force. Third challenge was, sometimes the boy or the girl, if the burn injuries are very serious, more than 50%, then they could not survive. They died. And you know that administration generally believes that the cremation could be done as early as possible, because there is volatile situation. If that body is kept on the road and grieving parents are there, it sends creating more aggression. So the interest of the administration was that the cremation could be done quickly. But you know that all over the country, barring a few places, the cremation stops after a certain hour of the day, which is sunset. The moment sun is down, the cremation cannot be carried out, barring a few places like Varanasi, where it is 24/7. But otherwise, everywhere cremation stopped. So the body had to be kept in the mortuary Supposing the person died, the boy or the girl died after sunset, then the body had to be kept in the mortuary. And during night, the feelings, the people's emotions, they used to run very high because their near and dear boy or girl had died. So it was difficult to control that. That was the third challenge which I faced. The fourth challenge was that sometimes the death started taking place on a holiday. Death doesn't tell you when it will come. So if on a holiday, the markets were closed. So you could not get the religious rites material which is required for carrying out the cremation. You require til ke laddu, you require a matka, which is, you carry it around the deceased and you then break it down. Those things were not available. So the markets were all closed. So you will be surprised to know, as district magistrate, we instructed our people to purchase as many matkas and all religious material from market, from our own funds, and keep it in the collector's office. Because on a Sunday or any holiday, the markets being closed, the grieving parents were not able to get that material for carrying out the last rites. So then in such a situation, we used to hand over the material to them and say, sir, please carry out the last rites. And we used to carry out with full honors. Now one day, one very, very popular, a very, very intelligent girl of Chandigarh, she decided to immolate herself. And while she was being rushed in a car, she took out her head from the window of the car and she started raising slogans against VP Singh and the central government. The people heard her cries, they got emotional, and since they got very emotional and charged with emotions, they closed down their shops, came out, got into their own cars and followed this car to the PGI. It was around 5 o'clock in the evening. It was about getting dark. By the time the girl was wheeled into the intensive care unit of the PGI, 20,000 people had assembled outside the PGI, circling it from all sides, and they wanted to break into the PGI and perhaps put fire to the PGI, destroy the infrastructure there. We were somehow stopping them because the girl was so popular girl, and people said, we are fed up. People are dying and here is a Prime Minister who is not doing anything. So then what happened? We put our best efforts to save the girl, but the girl died at 7 o'clock. 20,000 people assembled outside, wanting to gain entry into the PGI. If the news would have reached them, they would have forced all the barricades and come inside and damage all the public property. And as I district magistrate, it was my duty to control law and order. So I would have to use tear gas shells, lathi charge, perhaps firing. 20,000 people cannot be controlled by tear gas shells. You have to fire. So that would mean many people will be injured. Some may die. But it was absolutely correct decision because I had to maintain law and order. But was there any other option available to me? That was the question. So one more option we thought about, that whether we can persuade the parents of the girl that please don't cry. If you cry, immediately people will come to know that the girl has passed away. So that was a very inhuman thing to do. Telling the parents कि आप रोएगे भी नहीं, तो इससे ज़्यादा inhuman क्या हो सकता है? So I didn't follow that option also. First option, I did not want to punish those people who were outside. They had not done anything wrong. It was a policy, public policy, where consensus was not done. You see, this is what I say. When the consensus is not built up, then the policy invariably fails. This happened in farm laws. It happened in Mandal Commission. A lot of people died, only then it was forced upon. So one should build up consensus and participatory. So then what happened? The girl died, and now I had three options. One was break the news, people will come inside, we will have to use firing. Second was persuading the parents of the girl, keep quiet, don't do anything, so that people do not come to know about it. That again was a very inhuman thing. But there was one more option available to me. And that is why I say the civil service provides these challenges. So I had to take a decision at that point of time. So, in consultation with the governor, a decision was taken. The decision was that somehow delay the announcement of the death of the girl. But how do you do it? So we have to give an impression that the girl is alive. So we went on. The ventilator had been applied to him. So the ventilator went on. The ventilator went on and the chest of the girl went up, down, up, down, up, down, which gave an impression that the girl is still alive. Girl had gone, soul had gone, but the ventilator kept on operating, giving an impression that the girl is alive. So everyone thought the girl is still alive. 5 hours we went on the ventilator, and then after that, by that time everyone left. All the people, after all everyone has got work at home. कोई 5-6 घंटे से ज़्यादा कोई घर से बाहर नहीं रह सकता है. So they went home. At 1 o'clock we decided to break the result, the death of the girl. So then we kept it, the body in the mortuary, and next day we carried out the last rites. Now this kind of challenge, can you get in any other service? No, you will not get. This is only one example. I can mention to you at least 100 examples which I myself went through, and everything brought a new knowledge, new skills, a better attitude. Something which I would never have learnt in any other service. And that is why I say that the important things that you learn from a civil service is you occupy leadership positions at a young age. Number 2, diversity of job. Today you can become in agriculture, tomorrow you will be in forest, third time you may be in transport, fourth time social welfare. In fact, there are 26 letters in the English alphabet. Every letter represents some department or the other. A for agriculture, C for cooperation, D for defense, T for transport, E for environment, F for forest, W for wildlife. So, diversity of jobs. Number 3, public policy cycle. You are a part of the public policy cycle. What is the public policy cycle? It is like this. You know, first thing is problem identification. Second is agenda setting. It is finding the solution. Finding the problem, agenda setting, policy formulation. Policy legitimization. This is where the farm laws failed, because the policy was not legitimized. Legitimized means it should become acceptable by the people so that you can make it into a law. Policy implementation. And policy evaluation. So a civil servant passes through all the 6 steps of the policy cycle. So this is public policy cycle, which is unique to the civil servant. No other service provides an opportunity to travel through all the 6 steps of the public policy cycle. Problem identification, agenda setting, policy formulation, policy legitimization, policy implementation, policy evaluation. 4th is you are a part of public governance. So you carry out the governance on behalf of the central government and the state government. So you carry out public governance, you improve the lives of the people. So improve the lives of the people. Fifth is there is a lot of creativity and innovation. Why? You remember one Mr. Pame, he carried out 100 kilometers of road in northeast, Armstrong Pame. Similarly, many other civil servants, they improved the garbage collection, transport services, bus services, road network. So it gives lot of opportunity for creativity and innovation, which other services don't provide that. N session, yes. Sixth is, yes, sovereign powers. You exercise sovereign powers. Sovereign powers क्या है? Collection of revenue, tax, law and order, administration of justice. They are all sovereign powers. So you exercise sovereign powers. And seventh is diversity, public policy, leadership, public governance, improve the lives of the people, creativity and challenges. Every day brings a new challenge. So this is the uniqueness of civil service. The example which I gave you, Mandal Commission, there are at least, as I told you, 100 situations when I had to open, once I had to open a firing, and once people attacked me also because the death had taken place of a prominent politician, and then how to solve that problem, So therefore, once their minister got upset with me, once the collector, I was additional collector, so the collector tried to influence me wrongly. Once a minister got very upset with me and he complained to the chief minister. So these are challenges which come. Bhajan Lal was the chief minister, and Bhajan Lal was very, very supportive of the officers. So this is how the different challenges, and these challenges come not only in IAS, every service they will come. In revenue service will also be there, customs will be there, income tax will be there, railway management service they will be there, IPS will have so many challenges. So to the crux is that the service offers unimaginable opportunities for doing good to the people. And that is why I say that civil service is not a job, it is a service. Service to the citizens of this country. And therefore, do your best, yet appear at this service. There are so many chances which are available to you, but do appear. It will remain the most important service for times to come. Okay? Okay, thank you.